CuriosityStream has thousands of documentary films and shows available on demand on any device. We're the Netflix for nerds, the Hulu for history buffs, the Disney Plus for the scientist in us. There sure are a lot of streaming services, aren't there? CuriosityStream is the one you definitely need if you're the type to nature dock and chill, if you're an armchair astronaut, if you prefer physics to psychics, or perhaps you know a precocious paleontologist. Go to curiositystream.com to learn more and sign up today.
560 The Joe, WQAM and Dade County Federal Credit Union want to send you to see the Dolphins' only home preseason games coming up this week, August 21st, against the Atlanta Falcons. For your chance to win, enter online now at WQAM.com/contest, sponsored by Dade County Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Miami Dolphins. For more information, go to fincu.com for all the information on the Dade County Federal Credit Union.
All right, here, we're just waiting on Peter King in just a moment here, but real quickly, Miami Dolphins back at practice today with just the team, and then Falcons will fly into town today, and then they'll practice against the Miami Dolphins the next couple of days. And then, of course, Saturday night they'll play them in their second preseason game, so we should find out a lot more. And hopefully, honestly, while all these starting quarterbacks are resting, I hope Tua Tagovailoa keeps playing, man.
That'd be nice
and
to
he needs to get
see
some
that.
playing time.
That'd be nice to see that. All right, let's jump out to the Toyota of Hollywood hotline right now. Shop over 1,500 Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. Peter King joins us right now. Peter, good morning. Thanks for the time. I know you got to see a little bit of the Bears practice last week with the Finns. What'd you think of our guys up there?
Well, I actually wasn't at practice. I just met Matt Nagy in Chicago before the game, so I didn't see the Dolphins last week. That's one team I'm going to miss this year, unfortunately. I'm sorry to not have a great review on them, but I watched a bunch of the game on television from my hotel, and I thought there was progress from Tua, and I totally agree with you. He needs to play. I mean, this is not a job that you can rest and get it right. So I would be in favor of him playing a lot the next two games.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Hey, Peter, real quickly, too, the whole Chicago situation, it's interesting. We heard the fan base when Justin Fields came in and the boo birds basically for the other two. How quickly does he get that job, in your opinion?
As of right now, as I wrote in my column, Joe, I don't think it is knowable right now when he plays because, the coach, Matt Nagy, told me flat out, I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm not forcing him into the lineup because the fans want him or the media wants him or anything like that. He was absolutely adamant that he isn't going to, be pressured. He's going to play him when he's ready to play. And I think that is the smart thing. As I wrote in my column, there's 5 quarterbacks who've debuted in this century since 2000 who barely played in their first year or maybe played one game in their first year. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. And so that is the template that Matt Nagy is using, and we'll see if he sticks to it.
Yeah, the other guy, it's interesting, too, because we've been talking about, and the Dolphins get to see him in the opener, this Mac Jones and Cam Newton situation. That might be the tightest one with all these young guys, huh? Good chance Mac Jones starts pretty early.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a different story because I'm totally mystified by what Cam Newton has shown in the year that he's been in New England. He was not at all impressive last year. Might have been because of COVID and never really recovering from it. We don't know. But I didn't think he didn't play much the other day, but he just doesn't seem to be the thrower of the football that he was back when he was the MVP. We'll see. But I do think Mac Jones has got a heck of a shot to win that job.
Peter, I know you got to spend a little bit of time there in Rodgers. Can you tell me a little bit more about Zen Rodgers now? Should we start calling him that at this point? He's the Zen master now?
He just, I think he's worked on himself a lot in the last couple of years. And I think that there were things about the Packers that were, kind of driving him batty. He didn't have much of a say on anything either, the guys who he really liked throwing to, and other things in the organization. And he just thought that in this day and age in football, the players should have a little bit more say in what happens. Now, some people agree with that, some don't. But I think it has really upset him in the past. But the guy I found last Thursday, I think it was, in Green Bay was very much I am going to control what I can control, and otherwise I'm a don't worry, be happy guy. And that's really the way he seemed to me. And I think the big thing going forward with him is that he is either next year going to be traded or he's going to play in Green Bay. The following year, if he chooses to, in 2023, he could be an unrestricted free agent at the age of 39, and I'm sure generate a lot of the same kind of buzz and, teams going after him that happened with Tom Brady at age 42, but he'd probably be more attractive because he's 3 years younger.
Peter, this is one of the first years I can remember we've had a lot of quarterbacks in the offseason wanting to be more involved with their team and personnel. Is this the Tom Brady factor after what Tom was able to do, bring in guys he wanted, call more of the plays when things weren't going well? They said, hey, take it, Tom, and go. And I think these other guys saw a little bit of that. What do you think about that?
I mean, if you remember in the Super Bowl last year, they showed Russell Wilson once or twice on the telecast, and once when he was sitting in Roger Goodell's box, and he just looked miserable, looked absolutely miserable. And, he claims it's because, he just is thinking about he wants to get back to a Super Bowl and all that. But what must he be thinking when he looks at Brady and looks at Brady walking in and saying, I want Antonio Brown, and they bring Antonio Brown in? So, look, I'm really not sure if it is a sea change, if it's a gigantic change, quite honestly, but it definitely is a change. And we're noticing it all over sports, not just football, that players are having more and more of a say.
Peter King joining us here on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Peter, the Deshaun Watson story going on in Houston right now, the NFL doesn't have anything really to say on it right now until more comes out about it. But what do you think is going to end up happening with Deshaun Watson, especially this season with the team? And do you think he's going to be around the team a lot coming up in the next couple of weeks?
I mean, I don't think anybody knows right now, but I think that the more he's around his team, the bigger distraction he is. And I don't think the Texans want that. So I think at some point they're just going to tell him to go home. We're not going to fine you. Just go home, or go do your workouts here and then go home, because he's not going to play for the Texans almost certainly ever, and certainly not this year. The NFL is going to suspend him for some part of this season, maybe a long time, and it's just hard for me to imagine before his case is adjudicated and people know what they have that anybody would risk trading for him, not having any idea legally what's going to happen to him going forward. We have no idea what's going to happen with all these cases. And, you hear they're convening a grand jury to hear the evidence. And so you just don't know. He's definitely in a state of limbo right now.
Hey, Peter, the Miami Dolphins got to deal with one of the teams you've had a chance to spend some time with, the Buffalo Bills, and Josh Allen. I'm just wondering your take on the new contract and where he is, and that jump that he made last year was unbelievable with that team as good as they are. What are your thoughts on the Bills?
I mean, there's no question he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now and gives them a chance to win in any game. The unfortunate thing for him is that probably the biggest regular season game last year they played was against Kansas City, and obviously the biggest playoff game they played was the AFC Championship game, also against Kansas City. And he did not have a good game either time out. Completed 56%, threw interceptions in the second half of both games. He's, look, it's a cliche to say this. He's got to play better in the big games. That's all there is to it. But I'll take my chances on him. He's 25 years old. I think he's going to be great for a long time. So, if that's your only flaw, I think you're in pretty good shape. He can do everything. He can make every throw. he's learning not, as he said to me, I'm learning to not play hero ball all the time. And instead of thinking that he can do everything at big moments, just do what the play is called for you to do. And I think you're going to see him maturing more and more. And I do think he's going to win some big games, and he's won some big games already, but not the absolute biggest ones.
Peter, before we let you go, Mitchell Trubisky, real quickly, kind of the forgotten guy there for a minute. You think he gets a chance? I know you spent some time talking to him. Does he get a chance to get his career going again as a starter?
I think most likely, Joe, you're going to see he'll get another chance sometime. High picks in the draft always get more than one chance. So he'll have another chance. But right now, I think he's in a good spot in Buffalo. Brian Daboll is a good little quarterback tutor. He's also got Ken Dorsey, who people, in your area are very familiar with. And I think having Ken Dorsey and Brian Daboll and knowing that his job this year is to learn the game and to learn his game. And he may have to play, who knows? You never can tell. You're one play away. But I think he went to a place where he felt like he could take a deep breath, learn football, maybe a little bit more, and get ready for the second act in his career. I don't think anybody knows where that's going to be. Probably not in Buffalo, but he'll have another chance at some point in the next year or two.
Peter, it's great having you. By the way, did you get to a lot of ballparks this summer before baseball parks? Did you get to a couple?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Sunday here I'm in Minneapolis, just flying out today. I went to Target Field on Sunday. That is what a gem that is.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, oh man, it's fantastic. I saw Coors Field and a couple other ones on this trip, so it's been a good little training camp trip. I always try to cheat a couple of days and work in a couple of ball games. Yeah.
Peter, what'd you think of, before we let you go, Field of Dreams Park? What'd you think about that and that whole setup?
Oh my God, how great was that?
Right,
That was
right.
Utterly fantastic. It's kind of sad that there was a bunch of guys in that game who never heard of Field of Dreams before they knew they were going.
Right.
I mean, it's one of the best sports movies of all time. But anyway, it was really glad to see that.
Peter, thank you.
Thanks,
really
Peter.
appreciate it, Peter. We're not going to bother you for a while, I promise. Thank you.
That's okay, Joe. See ya. Bye.
All right, that's Peter King, Football Morning in America, joining us here on the Toyota of Hollywood Hotline.
He's getting ready to catch a plane. In case,
yep, you can hear it in the background.
I know that sound.
Yeah.
Hollywood had to deal with that sound here recently too, man. So we've got a lot more stuff to get to. By the way, Baldy's going to join us. Brian Baldinger will join us at 9 o'clock this morning. We're going to talk, spend some time looking at that offensive line and Tua and everything else. So we'll talk to NFL Network's Brian Baldinger coming up at 9 o'clock, 305-567-0560. By the way, real quickly, while I got everybody here, hate talking about it, but it's a fact. It's going to happen sooner or later to everybody out there that's active in a team or individual sport. I'm talking about Miami Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, a big part of Baptist Health, also, by the way, known as Doctors Hospital in Coral Gables. But, hey, listen, the Baptist Health part is growing all over South Florida. When it comes to sports-related injuries, we're real lucky because we got a group of doctors that work together that do nothing but work on athletes pretty much 7 days a week. And when people ask me where do the pros go, I go, well, Inter Miami, the Heat, the Panthers, and the Miami Dolphins all go to Miami Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. They use those doctors. Achilles, knees, shoulder, ankle, back, hip and knee replacement. Any kind of problems you've had with a foot or even a hand. They got specialists for everything with one goal, man. One goal, get you back out playing the sports you love the most. And here's what I really like, because they opened a new facility in Broward County, right off of Pine Island, 595 and Pine Island, right next to Renaissance Hotel there, where a lot of those doctors are working out of part of the week now. So you can get up there and see them. You don't have to go all the way down to Coral Gables. I'm full of good news today. And the great news is you're going to be able to see those same doctors that work on high school, college, and professional athletes every day. That's great news for everybody out there with those doctors, working with those physical therapists to get you back out, man, playing the sports we all love. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho. Make an appointment today.
On Pod Save the World, we want to be your cheat sheet for global events. My name is Tommy Vitor, and each week, my co-host Ben Rhodes and I break down the biggest stories from around the world. Ben and I both worked on President Obama's national security staff, and we'll introduce you to the activists, politicians, and journalists who can help us understand what's going on around the world, what it means for the United States, and what it's like being inside the White House Situation Room during a crisis.
Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your pods.